Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP Reviews Edition. I'm one of your hosts, John Clemente. Alongside with me are two of my bestest best friend. I'm going to start with the man on your screen left, the guy with a big headset. CHUBAX, how you doing?
What's up? I'm good. Enjoying the break, and I'm happy to be here discussing one of my favorite shows right now.
Yeah, all right. And the man in the middle of your screen right now, all the way from the West Coast, waking up very early to hang out with us, is Arnie. Arnie, how are you doing?
Oh, I've been awake for what, 3 hours. So
Why?
insomnia, man. That's
Eh,
that's the key there. But yeah, excited to talk to you guys. So
yeah. And for this particular episode, we are discussing the second half again of as Shabax has mentioned it, one of our favorite shows, both on animated series, but also a very popular web podcast tabletop gaming show, Critical Role's Vox Machina Season 3. If you want to join along the conversation, we discussed the first half on episode 149. And how about you watch the show, come back, and then discuss with us here so that you can kind of see whether if the season and the series is still something that you should be watching, sharing it with your friends and others. Um, I'm going to do a little bit of a different format on this particular episode because the full season has come out and it has been a little bit. It has been a little bit. So what we'll do is just like a quick general overview of the entire season and see how it aligns to what we remember and what we see, and then we'll dive really quickly into every episode of season 3. So Legend of Vox Machina season 3, the major antagonist is the group of dragons, uh, thinking that the main dragon that we're going to be fighting is Stordax,
So the king.
the king,
mhm.
but in reality, these dragons are led by the cunning Raishan that is hopping both sides to a certain end that we'll see at the end of the season. And that group of dragons is still called the Chroma Conclave, right? So while fighting those dragons, the group also, again, kind of paired up to navigate certain personal key struggles, right? So there's the romance between Vex and Percy, of course, right? There's also Vax and Keyleth solidifying
Kiki.
their relationship. There is Scanlan reconnecting with his estranged daughter. Uh,
Mhm.
and then all throughout the season, we'll see that the group experiences uh, significant sacrifices and a lot of emotional turmoil, not only to protect their own partnerships, their own little groups, own little towns, like um, Keyleth's town is one group, Whitestone is one group, even the the uh the musicians, the traveling musicians of Scanlan's family is another group. But in the end, all of these need to coalesce to protect Exandria from Thordax, the Cinder King, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there has been like so the key points around this, of course, as we have subplots as well in terms of Percy. Um, Percy's main antagonist has always been, what's the demon's name?
Oh,
Um,
Orthax.
Orthax.
Vortex, yeah.
In my head, Thordax, Orthax. So that was Percy's struggle in season 2. He was able to exorcise that particular demon from him, but now that demon has possessed his main rival, right?
Ripley.
Ripley. Uh, which also has a little bit of a storyline herself, why she thinks the way that she thinks, and why she, instead of fight against Orthax's influence, why she supports it. So that's one thing. And then we also kind of been a little bit more purview between Vex and Vax's family dynamic with their father, things that had happened with their mom in the future, in the past, and why there's such a big rift between the father and the kids, right? So that's Vex, Vax, Percy. We also, again, as mentioned, a little bit more of like a lighter, more clear note is, Scanlan trying to reconnect with his daughter, but either being a little too shy, and then or less conviction, and then when he had conviction, it's a little bit too late. So timing is an issue, both on leaving the group. Like, it's weird how every time Scanlan leaves, there's a there's it's a most inopportune time where they could have used his
Him.
sword to find certain monsters, but that's the nature of the storytelling. But also getting to um his daughters, wherever the daughter was, it'll either be late, or they just missed, or they're not speaking with each other. So that's another very nice character growth for Scanlan as well. And Keyleth also, we forget, she's still on her
Aramente.
magic path, right? So she has been uh needing to go through her Aramente to get all of the power of the magic elements, was because of there's so many other pressing things. Uh, we kind of forget about her thing, which kind of pops up in one of the episodes. We'll discuss that, where uh, it seems that Keyleth's voice among the group, even if it is a group, is the one that is least listened to. But we'll figure out that that's not the case. So those are all of the kind of like main through lines that we've kind of experienced throughout the season, and particularly the second half of the season as well. So I'm gonna quickly go through the episodes, and then just like jump in. I might miss a lot of big details. If you remember something about episode, let me know. But in season 3, episode 1, overall episode number 25 across a series, right? So I like that when I review the episodes, we can see that some or most of the episodes were written by, the performers, the actors themselves. So that's cool. Like in this, in episode 20, and no, episode number 25, season 3, episode 1, it was written by Sam Riegel and Travis Willingham.
Oh, right.
But
I did notice that.
yeah, some of them. So again, Raishan is kind of like the main antagonist that pushes the crew to a particular end. So currently, Raishan and Vox Machina are working together because they have a common enemy. But as almost every episode, we are reminded that we shouldn't trust Raishan. She will betray them. She will lead them to traps, etc., etc. But uh, on episode 7, lost my notes. All right, titled oh, sorry, episode 7, it was Marisha Ray that wrote this episode, and Eugene's son. um uh we get a flashback of Ripley. Okay, so we this is more of like a Percy centric episode. Then we kind of see Ripley's genius when she was a child, that she was making a lot of stuff for her father, but there was an attack at their town that killed his father, and that really changed Ripley's trajectory from building farming things to building weapons to seek revenge to the people that killed her episode, right? Uh, in the end, this is the episode after Ripley and the Conclave attacked Whitestone, Percy was able to kind of figure out where Ripley's location would be because of like a particular substance that only is produced at a particular place, and kind of he deduced of where she is and what she's doing. So they went to a place called Glinshore to ambush her. At the same time, Vex and Percy have been like talking in the back, thinking about making their relationship public, which is funny because everybody is looking at them. It's like, look at these two fuckers. We all know that what they've been doing. They fucked at every single place at every single area in Scanlan's chateau, but they still don't want to go public about it. So that's another recurring theme. Um, but during the ambush for Ripley, of course, it was a trap. There was a hallucinogen, kind of like a scarecrow toxin that releases all the major fears of everyone to keep them distracted so that Percy can be kidnapped again to
Mm.
work with Ripley again. But of course, Percy still doesn't want to work with them and was able to escape. Uh, and then we during the course of the things we see all of the major fears of every single person updated to season 3, like Pike's remembering Xerxes' message to him, like um like the about the her doubt with Everlight's power. um uh uh Vax's remembrance of her mom. So a lot of all of these things. In the end, there's a shootout. Percy was able to fight against the henchmen, subdue Ripley, even Orthax by using some straggling gunpowder in wherever area they are. Um, Percy spared Ripley's life, knowing
Idiot.
how it felt to be possessed by Orthax and be kind of like used and abused by him. But in the end, instead of converting, which is cute, I wasn't expecting this. Ripley still shoots Percy and
Mhm.
actually killing him because
I
when
was shocked, dude. As a
Mhm.
fan of as a guy who knows the campaign, I was shocked, and I was shocked when they made it matter. Like it took a while. Like it's not like
yeah,
see you next episode. No.
I kind of hoped that it stuck, but I knew they weren't gonna make it stuck
Yeah.
anyway. But so, did you remember this from listening to the podcast?
No, he died, but it was just like the get revived after immediately or something. Like he
Oh,
was
okay,
able
okay.
to.
That was
They
so
were able to revivify him after the
okay.
fight. I think. I think.
Okay. Because that was like, oh, maybe I was okay. I have no context of Vox Machina during the podcast of like, wait, did fucking wait, what's his name?
Percy.
Um
Taliesin.
Tylerson Jeffy, did he
Yeah.
get like a second character because this one died, etc., etc.? But
They
it
were
was
able to
good. So
revive him.
Pike wasn't able to help because he was dead, he was not injured. And then, of course, Vex is distraught the rest of the time. So that's episode 7. Um, episode 8, entitled Siege and Silence. Because Percy has just died, we kind of get the flashback on when Percy first met the Vox Machina crew. The Vox Machina was trying to break out a prisoner for a bounty, but the prisoner was already dead. Very funny way to. I mean, I know the way that it was done was very funny, and then we see Percy being very pragmatic, saying like, "Hey, you seem like," or Vax noticing that Percy was speaking a little fancy. You
Yeah.
don't seem to look like you would belong into prison. So, how much will we make if we break you out? And Percy was very, very honest about
I
saying like,
know.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
well, there might be some bounty, but most likely not because I'm very poor. I have no money, etc.,
But I
etc. And
like the
then it was like,
pause. There was the difference, like yeah, substantial amount, and then he was tempted to leave it at like what,
mm,
but not right now. I mean,
yeah, yeah, I'm super
if
broke,
I
right?
wasn't
So
flat broke, yeah.
yeah. So that was nice. And then I think the part of that episode that I never really noticed until now is like Percy has always been the mostly the planner, right? So so here it was like, you're not a really good negotiator. Vax says to Percy, but Percy says like, yeah, I'm not, but maybe you guys might need a little bit of truth, right? So then we arrive back to present. There's a funeral for Percy. Scanlan finally arrives, horrified of what he missed. You know, Vex um, mourns this because the main regret was she was never to really vocalize that she loved him back. Like it was in actions, but sometimes words matter
But
too. So that was kind of
I also love their relationship where there was an attraction obviously, but more probably just physical, and then it became sexual. But
Mhm.
it was just for Vex, just trying. She was falling in love, but she was trying to keep an arm's
She
length as
was
well.
again. She was taught to not give trust to anyone except his brother, of course. So kind of that was something that will pop up at the end as well. So um, this time, I know earlier in the season, Vax and Keyleth were kind of in love too, but because of extenuating circumstances, they had to kind of like leave each other. But at this point, Vax and Keyleth reconcile, spends the night together, realizing that their time and any of them, their time as adventurers together is not assured, so they need to make the most out of it. Uh, then we have a little scene where Raishan comes back to Whitestone, still trying to work with Vox Machina, but um, you know, yeah, even if the deal has ended already, they still want to make sure to kind of um, eliminate Thordak because it's still a common enemy. And the reason how she ropes in, Raishan ropes in uh, Vax and Vex is because, particularly Vax, is uh, she said the reason why Vax and Vex's mom Elena died was not because her father, which is partly because her father kind of like uh released the mother, but also it was Stordak who killed the mother, like attacking a place. Um so yeah, so but at this point the council that they've created parted ways because um they still wanted to do like a final siege attack on on Thordak. So they have to attack on all fronts. Some people will need to subdue the castle with the other dragons. Some people will need to sneak in, kill the egg so that they don't have reinforcement, and some people need to just like keep Thordak at bay long enough so that they can um, they can get the crystal or something, right? So the group kind of broke into different parts to recruit some allies, like Zara and
Shaw.
Kashaw.
Cash.
Um, uh, and then Keyleth needs to recruit the Ashari, right? And then Vex and Vax will need to go back to their homeland to recruit the armies of Singorn. So, and we also see a little bit part towards the end where Vex stands up to her father, saying that, "Hey, I don't even need to worry about asking permission for the army. That's the easy part. What I want from you is to admit what had happened with the mom, which was, um,
You fell in
you
love
know,
also.
but it wasn't their fault that." It wasn't Vex and Vax's fault that their mom died. Uh, it's just like unfortunate that the dad loved the mom so much that every time he see Vax and Vex, he thought that it was their fault. So there you go. End of the episode, we have this attack, but we quickly realize that the army and the resistance against Thordak, so Vox Machina and crew, um, were set up for a trap. Not only was Thordak waiting, but the secret access to where The smaller contingent of Vox Machina crew can come in, kill the eggs, get the crystal, or has been sealed. So essentially, Raishan has betrayed them. And then we have this lots of attack. Episode 9, again, lots of attack. There's a funny bit in episode 9 where Grog was the one that, because everybody was a little bit in shock, and everybody was, it was already a long shot with the correct plan. Now that their plan has been busted, um yeah, everybody was like in disarray, everybody was being slaughtered and dying. But Vox Machina's plan threw Grog, who blacked out while thinking about the plan, which was funny. Grog and Scanlan will kill eggs. Um, Vex and everybody else will, be split to helping the army, and the others will be trying to kind of like distract Thordax.
I
So
love Grog doing Will Ferrell. Remember
I
the
black out.
in old school? I blacked out with a
Mhm.
great
Yeah.
plan. That was so funny.
What happened? I black out. During the battle, we see just like again, this is a super awesome, and we haven't discussed like a lot of episodes has a lot of really good action set pieces every episode, and the episode 9 in particular was even more awesome. It was great. But during the battle, we'll see some of like key highlights of the battle. One, um, we see how um what's her name? Uh, 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 Allison Johnson, Ashley Johnson.
Pike.
Uh, Pike's armor, right? Her mystical armor is great. It absorbs
Fire or something like that.
fire or essentially
Magic.
any blast, right? Any blast to her, but she has very very poor control in then releasing it back, so much so that one time Keyleth was hit
Yeah.
by her own power, so that was her unconsciously kind of like still doubting herself, still relying on the power of the plate for her. We also saw the recruits, right? So Zara and Kashaw, the bounty hunters, the super cool friends of the crew that kind of like joined in. We see that after a bunch of cool exchanges, Kashaw was essentially crushed by Thordak by his foot, and everybody sees that. And all the while, we keep on seeing Vex and her and the matron, like seeing those threads of death being pulled. So that's kind of like a nice through line across the entire season. Um, but of course, in the end, uh, when Scanlan and Grog kind of like distracted Thordak because of the eggs being killed, um, uh, we do another fight scene, really cool, where finally, um, Pike was able to figure out that it wasn't the plate. She doesn't need to have to believe in the god or the plate. She needs, it was her that kind of holds the power. So she was able to absorb one of the bigger fire breaths that Thordak has expelled, and then shoot it back to destroy the crystal in Thordak's chest. Eventually, the one that kind of like gives Thordak, immense power, and released himself instead. Um, so the other part here too is Raishan also arrived in dragon form, thinking that she has already betrayed the people, but instead turned against Thordak and then wounds him even more. So much so that Thordak wanted to escape. And then Vax, when Thordax was attempting to escape, follows him and did like a ultimate kill move where he flies into the gaping open chest of Thordak so that he can like kill him from the inside and essentially decapitate him, etc., etc. Um, so everything, all the fights done. Lots of people dead. They've lost more than they attempted it to
I did
lose.
not
But
expect a shot to die also. This
who?
was Cash.
Kasha.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm looking at it as like in the back of my head. I'm always looking out. It's cartoons. They're going to not kill these major people, etc., etc. But I'm glad that they're killing people of no. Let's make it a little bit more. It's war. You can't. Not all of them will be able to survive. Um. So in the end, so recap. We thought that Raishan was working with Vox Machina, and then when the siege happened, and then it seems like it was a trap, people thought that Raishan betrayed them, and then Raishan kills Thordak instead of killing Vox Machina. So we think that we're working them together again. And then when Keyleth wanted to like thank Raishan for helping him out at the aid, we're usually in there like, okay, now we really know Raishan's true intentions was to kill Thordak so she can do something with the corpse. So again, so that you're betrayed again.
I love it. It's like
Mm.
you were right. Your timing was just off on calling it.
Yeah. So episode 10 to the end's world. So once Raishan disappears with Thordak's corpse, Vox Machina kind of like realizes the betrayal, and this is where Keela, like the group having mission done also kind of like breaks apart because this, as we mentioned, Keyleth was very pissed that nobody really listened to her. Like, I told you she will betray us and not to work with her, but look what happened. Not only did we lose people, sure, we killed Thordak, but I think we have let loose something um, uh, a little bit worse. Um, Also, we discover that while Grog and Scanlan was escaping, Scanlan was injured enough that he got into a coma. He can't, and Pike can't revive him yet. As we kind of like we do the recap of what had happened, now that Tordak is gone and there seems to be no coherent mission for the team already, Vex decides to go after Ripley to avenge Percy. So of course, Vax joins Vex, right? Uh, so Kaylee, Keyleth decides to go back to the Ashari to gain the power of the Earth confluence, right? So that she can find uh, people, targets, uh, over vast distances by being one with the earth. So hopefully Keyleth can find um Raishan and they can do something about Raishan, etc., etc. So a lot of this episode was Keyleth trying to convince the council that she can go through the process of getting the earth confluence. There was a few back and forth in terms of like, oh, um my team doesn't listen to me and then my people doesn't listen to me, but she turns it around, and she realized that only one of the council members was super hesitant on giving her the chance to for this particular trial, so she instead convinced all the other ones to give her. So her father and uh one other elder Ashari, Patisse, um agreed to kind of like help her go through this process, and then we go through the ritual of the Earth confluence. It's very very dangerous because people that get lost through this power gets entombed in stone. So that's why it's supposed to be years and not just like, oh, because you want it you're gonna get it kind of thing. Skipping forward to uh or skipping back to Vax and Vex, they get to a place where there's this ship that only comes at night and restocks, and they kind of think that this is Ripley's crew, etc., etc. So another thief friend that kind of helped them out figure this out, and then of course Vax and Vex was able to get to that ship. But of course, Ripley kind of knew that they were going to be there. Gunfight ensues. A lot of cool action set pieces for Vax and
I
Vex.
especially Vax and Ripley with the teleporting fights. It's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So the cool thing about is it's like Ripley was okay. He was interested in kind of like toying them around because they want to get their artifacts because it was very good. But they kind of forgot that Vax's daggers is recallable. So even if you got it, so you were able to get it back and was able to escape. Yeah, super good fun fights. It's Vax and Vex versus Henchman and Ripley with Orthax. I really do like the Orthax combo. Like Ripley has
The arm.
3 hands,
Yeah.
and
And the
then
teleport with the cloak
and then
and
the
then the gun.
teleport and Orthax's head to warn Ripley attacks coming from her blind side. So it's nice. It's kind of like it's not just like oh we fight and it's like cool. No, it's like there's some skill to it. But just fast, just skipping forward. At the end, they were able to, of course, beat Orthax and uh, uh, Orthax and Ripley. Um, uh, Going back to I'm bleeding into episode 11 now where um uh but going back to where Keyleth is, it was a nice inversion of her expectations because she left the crew because she thought that even if we're a group, nobody is listening to me. Nobody needs me, therefore I don't need anyone. But as the earth trials were happening and she was being overwhelmed by the multiple people that the earth is connected to and that power is connected to, almost consuming her, we realized that she needs an anchor. And her anchor are the same people that she thought that never listened to her. So you realize like I need them the same way that they need me. We are of one. And of course, within those Vox Machina people that kind of helped her navigate her way out of the Earth Confluence trial was a major anchor, which was Vax. Like there was a person that loved her enough that will follow her through and will find her wherever she'll be. So in the end, she was able to kind of search his way out and also uh, um, kind of get that super powered Earth armor, right? Uh, Now that's done. We end the episode with again Vex and Vox being able to uh, fight and beat Ripley, and then we realized that as they were able to use the surroundings to subdue Ripley and Orthax, they were able to get the pepper box that Ripley was using, and that pepper box has Orthax's essence and soul there, and Vax kind of hears other souls in there, including possibly Percy. So that's it. uh
And I love how they killed Ripley. Just like nothing fancy, nothing superpowered, just fucking 2 arrows to the face. Or to the body and face.
Hmm.
Coming out from the water too, right? So it was
Yeah.
a little bit of surprise to kind of
Sylvester
uh
Rambo shot.
mhm. So again, that was both episode 10 and 11. The stuff that we missed on episode 11 is, we have Vax and Vex fighting Ripley, Keyleth going through the trials. We have Scanlan still unconscious in a coma. Pike can't revive him. Grog very, very weirdly trying to wake him up. And then Pike kind of realized that one of the things that can wake Scanlan up is uh Kayla, his daughter. So Pike finds Kayla, um brings him back, realizes
Is it
that
Kaylee? I
just
think Kaylee.
Kaylee,
Kaylee, yeah.
yeah, Kaylee, and um just wanted to give him, or at least Pike was mentioned, like, or tells Kaylee that you just don't know how much uh you mean to him. Like, oh, he's never been here, etc. He tried. It's just like he missed you, or he wrote you the song and everything like that. So we realized that Scanlan's growth is like he finally found a one true person to love, and they want to be together. So Kaylee talking to Scanlan kind of wakes him up, and then that kind of like reunites the entire team back again. Like, right, we're now here. Everybody's back from their own individual missions. Um, uh, so uh, this is also wait. This is where Keyleth, using her new Earth power, gets to uh, call on the team from very very far away. It's like, yo guys, let's regroup at Zephyra. Um, and then when they kind of regroup there, because of the new power of Keyleth, she was able to discover where uh, Raishan is doing the ritual with Thordak's corpse, or they're performing a ritual for Thordak's corpse. So in the end, uh, Keyleth leads Vox Machina to the place where uh, Thordak slash Raishan was. Another really cool episode, end of episode 11. Lots of action set pieces. Uh, the fight starts where, it seemed, or towards the end of the episode, it seemed that Keyleth was able to subdue and kill Raishan before completing the ritual. Um,
I
uh,
think
but
she finished it.
Well, it looked like when Keyleth killed Raishan, she thought
Oh,
that it
before
was the
yeah, yeah,
right.
sorry, yeah, at the start.
But at I think that was part of the ritual itself, that she will leave this vessel and then co-opt Thordak's vessel for her own. So a vessel that doesn't feel pain and has a lot more power. So in the end, that was the play. Raishan transferring her soul to Thordak's corpse. Right. So last episode. And yeah, quick fight. So again, Raishan and Thordak's corpse fighting Vox Machina. It was a mostly Keyleth versus Raishan episode.
Mhm.
Uh,
Before that, I love the resolution of Keyleth, her anger for when they were not believing her, and then
mhm,
she realized that it's because she herself didn't trust herself first,
100%.
right? So
Yeah.
whenever she did feel that they weren't listening to her, she never stood up for pushed for herself. So she always caved. Also, like, oh, I think maybe they're right, and then she would come
Mm.
back again, and oh no, maybe they're right. So now she knows she needs to trust herself first. So that was like amazing writing.
Yeah, again, that was it's a nice kind of inversion that, hey, it's not them or us. It's not them or me. It's us, and then us
Mm-hmm.
includes me, right? So it's like I need to be more assertive. So I need, I've been trusting my group so much. Now the group needs to trust me. That's why in this end of the episode, it was mostly Keyleth and Raishan. um and again, it's tough to describe the action set piece, but there's a lot. But the key point of the choreography was, there's this giant blast that seemingly turned Keyleth into ashes, like, but instead it was more of like a Naruto versus uh Neji move, where he she went down the the ground and then up underneath Raishan, because they didn't realize that she had the Earth confluence then. And then part of the Earth confluence was getting the disease from Raishan's corpse, because that's her power, disease, and then putting it into uh Thordak's body, right? That was what it's saying. Disease is also part of the earth, and she was able to get that, and that was the one essentially that beat Thordak slash Raishan, uh uh her own disease. So that's done. Uh they have a cool kiss where, Vax and Keyleth kiss, and then Keyleth starts puking and keeps on saying like, no, it's not you. It's a disease, the poison. And then we go back to I think this was Whitestone. Um
Hmm.
so they go back because uh Vex reached out to the matron to see if there's any way to do something for Percy's soul, because he thinks that Percy's soul is not in the ether; it's in Orthax's pepper box, right? And it's trapped trapped within Orthax, and Orthax is in the pepper box that they have. So, um, through a lot of convincing, the matron warns Vax that there's a huge risk to do anything in terms of the unnatural ways of the world. But the next morning, of course, Vax tells everyone that he wants to bring Percy back. The plan is um, Pike will uh, take care of the body as much as he can. Using his Matron powers, Vax will go into the pepper box, go into Orthax, find Percy's soul, and then hopefully take that soul and bind it back to his body. That was the plan. Um, and then there was a lot of uh, there was a lot of drama in terms of being able to find and connect uh, uh, Percy, and one of the main things why Percy or Orthax does not want to let go of Percy. Upon Percy's death, his sorrow is the one that is fueling Orthax's forge in terms of being able to kind of produce hate. Like that was the thing too. Um, People that die of hate powers Orthax. That's why um, Percy never really wanted to follow um, or be Orthax's vessel anymore, even if his powers will be able to kill more of their enemies because it'll essentially power him. Uh, as their powers combined, and of course, dramatically, uh, Vex is the one that kind of snaps Percy out of his trance, not being able to recognize Vax in the soul realm. But Vex finally was able to proclaim his love for Percy. Her tear kind of transcends or the planes and becomes like uh, a reminder for Percy in the soul world, and kind of wakes him up where Vex was able to pull uh uh pull Percy, and with everybody's powers combined, it was able to bring Percy back from the death. So this wasn't in the pods, right, Shabaks?
No, don't think so. He died, but not this way. He came back not. I don't think. I don't think. I may be mistaken, but I don't think it's this way.
Yeah. Um So not only was Vax successfully able to free Percy from Orthax's grasp, but this kind of like ritual kind of like exercised Orthax for good as well. Um, then everybody was happy in Whitestone. They started beginning the rebuilding process. Percy was recovering for a very, very long time. Um, but this is also the part where, because it's the last episode, kind of like a really nice separation point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I like that they
except,
try to keep the status quo. Like
yeah.
they all have they have to grow, and to grow
Mhm.
you can't be always together.
And that's the cool part, because uh also this was happening in the chateau, so it's all chicken,
I
right?
love it.
So
Yeah.
Scanlan's chateau. But the idea was so first it was Scanlan who started the conversation where like, hey, She doesn't want to. He doesn't want to adventure for a little bit. He wants to stay with Kaylee for a bit, right? He found something that he really really loves and wants to take care of, so he wants to spend a little bit more time there, which is good timing because Keyleth really needs to go back to her Aramente because
I
that's part of
know.
it. That was the main point of her thing. And we realized that, oh, since Vex and Percy are in Whitestone anyway, Vax decided to join Keyleth in this adventure, so he'll be her scribe. Um, Little part of this is Vax was showing signs of decay because of all of the things that she's done. So that might be an important thing in possibly the next future. That's kind of like a little Easter egg there. Um, and then yeah, so Scanlan and Kaylee will be together. They'll be traveling the world, doing their music, etc., etc. So essentially, it was just, and then um, Vex and Percy will go back to Whitestone, live the life of nobility a little bit while Whitestone rebuilds, as well as Percy recovers. So that's a nice combination for there as well. So in the end, it was Grog and Pike who kind of stayed behind. They're going to be together. They're going to be doing their adventures together. But they were very clear that it's not like the group is breaking up. It's just like when shit shit needs to get done, they know who to call. Um, and that's essentially the end of the Vox Machina part. We have a little bit of like an end cap where we see these cultists summoning a powerful evil being. And that will most likely be
Vecna,
the
what the whispered ones, what they call
the
them.
whispered one, which has been touched upon the past couple of seasons as well. But this one, it seems like the power is growing, and that will be probably the next adventure that we have in the next few seasons. And that's it. That is season 3 of Vox Machina's uh uh Vox Machina. I fucking really really enjoyed everything, including the arc. I think they've gotten a little bit more of budget here. Um, Thoughts, favorite parts, and your rating. We'll start with Arnie.
Well, yeah, you mentioned the budget. Obviously, the animation basically, you know, got better since season one. Um, the My favorite story arc was with Pike when she went to hell, right? To
Yeah,
go, and she
get
kind
this
of
plate.
she outwitted or tried to beat the keeper, or basically the underworld, devil, right? So I like that part. Um, in terms of enjoyment, I think I enjoyed season two more, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the time of my life when I was watching this season. So plus, it's just like maybe I'm dragoned out because I'm not having a lot of dragon content, but overall, it's still an enjoyable series to watch, uh, and that too. Yep.
What's your rating?
Oh, I'd say 8 out of 10 for me.
CHUBAX?
For me, I love this shit. I give it a 9. I just everything's amazing from the writing, the comedy, the action. Like you said, the production value, the animation is top notch. The fights with Thordak and
Mm-hmm.
with Raishan at the end are like amazing. I like that they didn't repeat themselves like doing like a team up set. Like this one mostly like Pike and Vax taking down Thordax and then Keyleth on the end. Like it doesn't all come together cleanly,
Mm-hmm.
when you fight. So it was great that some people stood out more than the others. Like
Matchups.
how much can Grog really punch Thordak
Yeah,
if
exactly.
it makes
Yeah.
sense? So it's really like matchups and really good fights. I like the drama and the relationships. They're really pushing the envelope. It's not like typical animation where they don't deviate too far from the norm. So and it's also good surprises for me since uh, I wasn't expecting a lot of some stuff like I know I read some tweets and articles like a lot of people were thrown in for the loop when Percy died because it took
Mm-hmm.
long to come back. So that's great. I can't wait for season 4. I can't wait for Mighty Nine, the next the other team. So it's gonna be great, and yeah, I can't wait for more. I'm pretty sure they said season 4 is good, right?
Yeah, they've been and until season 5.
Okay, so I hope they finish it with 5. I think they will. Like 2 seasons is good for Vecna, Whispered One. And I hope we meet Taryn Darrington, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure we will. He's when Scanlan left for a while, he's the one that he's your other character, and it was so fucking fun. He's amazing.
Oh,
So
I'm
I hope he.
excited. I too am giving it a 9. Like the second half was for me way better than the first half. To be I actually my thing is I actually thought that they put too much in it. Like there's so
Mm.
many layers,
That's
which
what I
I
was.
was
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but I'd rather that. Like there was like the dragons and Ripley and Orthax, and then they split up and they come back again, split up and they come back again. So I would have thought like if this were the 2000s or the 90s, this would have been like a Dragon Ball 50 episode
Oh
season,
yeah,
right? Right.
with filler episodes. Yeah, for
Good,
sure.
right? So I actually like that it's so dense. The story is so dense, and in all essence, it's very fast. Like from what I think, it's very fast while making sure that there's still like for kids, there's still an action set piece every episode. So you get story, you get sex, you get action, you get progression very very quickly. So I actually that's my main reason. That's why I'm very very high on it. Like, is every layer equal or important? Nah, but you can't have all of the each character's storylines super duper heart wrenching anyway. You need a little bit of balance. Like Scanlan's a little bit light, right? Pike was a little bit light. Oh, Vex and the love stories was a
More
little
of the
bit
fun.
dumb, but the combination of all makes it highlights the danger of the dragons, and it highlights the other smaller threat of Ripley. Um, still, that's the only complaint I have. Like, fuck, dude, Ripley kidnapped Percy to make his stuff twice. She did not learn, but
She couldn't
also, yeah, but
couldn't do it.
also, Percy, bro, maybe make sure that the person is unarmed before you start giving them a chance to live. It's
Yeah.
or like talk to them in prison. So that's the
I think
few.
but yeah, I think he was more like, oh, I'm making a connection. Maybe I can
Yeah.
redeem her,
So
but
yeah.
it cost him his
Uh,
life. So yeah, I agree with you. But also
yeah.
shout out to Lance Reddick.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh
miss you,
yeah.
motherfucker.
Episode 1 was dedicated to Lance Reddick. That was kind of his last. This is his last performance. Um, Sad, but at least he is now immortalized with a very very cool character as well. All right. Well, okay, that is it for this episode of Plus 63 HP's review show. Thank you very much for watching. Again, if you have not yet, please like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/plus 63HP. Hop online, twitch.tv/plus 63HP. Most weekends, like Saturday, uh, mornings 9:30 to 11:30 or past Eastern Standard Time, and then that'll be 10:30 to 12:30, 1:30 past for Philippine Standard Time. That's when we record our D&D campaign. That's also going super duper fun. On Sundays is where we record pretty much all the other shows, our review show, our react show. Sundays again, 9:30 to 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, 10:30 to 1:30 Philippine Standard Time, -3 Eastern Standard for Pacific Standard Time as well. So join us there. We are on the socials. Just search at +63HP. We are still on pods if you want to um, listen to our previous episodes, but we will be slowly migrating and concentrating to the YouTube channel for all of our shows. So hopefully you can join us there. Final goodbyes, Arnie.
Oop, oh, hold on, my mic. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, yeah, yep. It was fun watching Vox Machina, and yeah, looking forward for the new year and new content that we're going to watch. So good.
CHUBAX.
Yeah, great series. Now, waiting for next should be Skeleton Crew. Do that next
Oh
week.
yeah.
Or yeah,
Yep.
so excited for
I
that. And
can't
Summer break.
say I know.
so
Summer
yeah,
Skeleton
break.
Crew,
that
yes.
is it. Can't wait to see chat with you guys again.
Yeah. It'll be the holidays the next couple of weeks, so we hope you get to enjoy your break. We're gonna take a little bit of break as well, but when we come back, as Shabak mentioned, we have Skeleton Crew, we have um,
Lord of the Rings.
Arcane season 2. There are
Arcane.
Arcane.
movies
Fuck.
that are dropping. There's a lot of content, and luckily now we have a little bit more time to be able to enjoy it, and then we can come back with our dumb but very, very fun opinions around it. Hopefully, you guys can join us again next time. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.